But if you also look at it, you're saying that eventually you think that we might move to that particular principle.
Yes.
And that, for now we should still stay with the principle of
Yes.
derivation.
Yes.
Some people will wonder, 18%, which is, which was where you were going to. Right now, you've said that the presidency should bring, should have a committee and look into it. What progress do you think that this committee might be able to make?
Well, it's because we believe that there should be inclusiveness in decision taking. That's why I think that this committee should advise the president. But to be sincere with ourselves, the president does not even need that constitution, that committee, to increase derivation, because check the existing constitution. It says that it should not be less than 13%. It does not say that it should not be more. So, but is the president's wisdom may decide how to handle it. But definitely, because the 18% was what the Mantu committee recommended as far as 2007. After the conference collapsed over 70%, the Mantu committee went to 2007 and said, okay, after going around the South region, the committee recommended that 18%, and which is now the compromise we have reached at this committee. Because I think the least South were demanding was 25%.
Some people argue that, the reason why you've stayed on that position is because they do not exactly understand the distribution of resources in this country. For instance, the argument that the South brings all the oil, some people say that's not correct, because there's also been that, let me be more specific. We had a guest, Mr. Robert Clark, who said that the issue of states who have borders with the seas have also, what did he call that?
The
littoral states, that has been decided by the Supreme Court, has also, helped the country know that there are more oil wells that, belong to the federal, as it were, and there could be more resources there than what the South actually brings as a region.
Well, there's a flaw. That argument is flawed. Because if, for instance, if Bayelsa is not part of Nigeria, there is no basis for Nigeria to go and lay claim to the continental shelf. If Rivers is in another country, why have we lost Bakassi? So that does not hold water to say that, offshore and onshore dichotomy. The reasons why you have access to those sewer boundaries is because those territories are part of Nigeria. So you cannot say that, because resources that are offshore belongs to the federal government. The federal government owns no resources. The resources belong to the federated units. And because we are part of federalism, that's why we are talking of derivation and the rest of them. Niger Republic today, they found oil. Why don't you go and lay claim to the continental shelf? It's because it's a different territory. So what gives the federal government access to any continental shelf is because those territories that have those sewer boundaries are part of Nigeria.
Let's go back a little bit to something you said earlier about the immunity clause, the removal of the immunity clause. Now, there were fears before that removal of the immunity clause will open up the president and the governors, indeed, to all sorts of litigations, left, right, back, and center. Did the conference consider this before removing it?
If there are litigations against the governor, is the governor that go to court and defend himself? Why is the Attorney General there? Why are there lawyers there? All those governments are self-serving. The start and rest. Why is he the one that's going to court to defend himself? If you commit crime, it's palpable. Look, in other jurisdictions, places like America and where they have established systems, once there's a serious allegation against you, even before they go to investigation, you resign. Once there's out through that, this allegation was committed, people resign. It's only here the public official will argue with gospel that we need immunity and there will be distraction. People will go to court. Are you a monarch? It's an elected office. If you cannot stand the heat, don't get to the kitchen. If you are not ready to be, that your feet should be put to the accountability test on daily basis, don't go into public office.
Should we also not, be mindful of the kind of heat we want to put them through? Because some people will argue that we have a lot of public officials who have left office, do not have immunity covering them, yet nobody seems to be taking them to court.
Because there's a pile. There's what is called the Louvre's principle. That in your house, If you have a broken liver and you don't fix on time, and I don't breathe, you don't fix on time. By the time your roof is getting away, it won't matter anymore. Corruption has gone an institution in Nigeria. It doesn't matter anymore. In this country, at a point in this country, there are public officials who, when they stole money, they had to keep it in a trust. And there have been stories of those who left office and those people they gave money to double-cross them. And in fact, there was an official who died because of that. But today, our public officials can even buy a government house, can buy the secretariat and put their name on it. Because there's so much impunity. So, when you remove immunity, we are taking away the impunity aspects. Then you cannot begin to start, like I said, there are other measures we are putting in place. Enforcement of the corruption law so that it does not become a national culture. That you don't, at the moment you celebrate it, it doesn't matter anymore. In fact, it's a badge of honor that you have been accused of corruption, you have been charged to court. Because nothing happens. So it's because these things are piling up. And therefore, if you begin to tackle them, even right from when they're there, people will sit up. And that's because the disgrace is more when you are a sitting officer, when you have left office.
But did you get the sense, or what sense did you get about everyone who was at that conference in terms of Nigeria staying together and moving on, progressing together?
Well, let me say that I think there are two camps of delegates at that conference. There's a camp of the pro-federal, and there's a camp of the pro-feudal. The pro-federal delegates are the ones who want Nigeria to move in a new direction on the basis of federalism, giving autonomy to the regions, to the federation units, and ensuring that we run the best principle of federalism. But the pro-feudal delegates want things to remain as they are, even if not worse, because they believe that they can only prosper in the midst of contention, which is feudalism all about. It's from the word feud. So, the issue that is facing Nigeria now is, where do we go from here? Do we go on the basis of symbiosis, that we all live in a union where we benefit from ourselves, or we live in a parasitic federation where some people believe that they have to live off the others? That's where we are. And I think majority of this conference elected that Nigeria should move along through federal lines. And that if you are seeing the outbursts after this conference, it has only come from those pro-feudal delegates.
So at the end of the day, do you think that the recommendations of the conference will go for a referendum? Because people talk about there's no law that backs all of this in the first place.
Well, that's very interesting. I've had people making that argument. But I think that the 1999 constitution that we are using now, the conference that set it up, that started it, was set up by General Sani Abacha. One man who shot his way to power by just one broadcast. Fellow Nigerians, General Sani Abacha, I've sacked the ING. He set up a conference, they produced a report, he asked a constitutional analysis committee to redraft what that committee did, and eventually his legal advisor, Professor Yadudu, coordinated the constitution, which was under his bed when he died, and Absalami went to take it, give it to another committee, and then in a hurry, as at the time they were swearing Obasanjo in 1999, there was no clean copy of the 1999 constitution. But they went to Heritage Press to just quickly rush one, which they used to swear in me. After this was sworn in, they were still tinkering with that constitution. That cannot be a constitution. So if you now say that a democratically elected president of Nigeria set up a conference and with his inherent powers, under Section 5 of this constitution, and you're not telling me there's no law backing it, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, Mr. Yinka Odumakin is a delegate at the ongoing national conference. Yes, they will be meeting on the 11th of August to ratify or adopt all you have decided, you say. Okay, thank you for coming on this morning.
My pleasure.